This is the DJI OM5. They've redesigned this gimbal for your smartphone to make it 1/3 smaller, 1/3 lighter, and also it's got an extension rod built in. So in this video, I want to go through 10 different reasons why you might want to get this gimbal, and also I want to compare how the iPhone 12 stabilization inside the camera compares with using a gimbal. And that's actually what we're going to start with. Let's just look at some side-by-side footage of the gimbal and then also the footage in my iPhone 12, and let's just compare them and see what the difference is. Now, the big thing when looking at this footage is the horizon leveling, because when you're just shooting with your iPhone, you're gonna bump, you're gonna move, and yes, it's gonna be stabilized, but with a gimbal, you're getting that perfectly level horizon at all times. And also, the gimbal just unlocks a lot of additional features which make it easier to shoot video, especially when you wanna get more filmic looking footage, rather than just like having the phone up at your face and doing this. So reason number one is horizon leveling. So your horizon's always gonna be level no matter what you're shooting. When you're shooting handheld, there might be times where you're twisting the phone and not getting a perfectly level shot at all times. Your phone's not gonna keep the horizon level. So with a gimbal, because of the way it's designed, it's supposed to keep the horizon always level. And that's whether you're shooting vertical or horizontal. And reason number two for getting the OM5 is the button layout. They've actually added an additional button to the OM4, so it's a little bit upgraded, but it just makes operation much easier. So on the front here, you have your joystick, which moves the camera around. So if you wanted to put this on the tripod, which I have on right now, you could actually do like smooth pans or tilt up or tilt down. You have a record button just right here on the gimbal handle. You have your flip, which goes from horizontal, double click it, goes to vertical. You have your trigger, which will always bring the camera back to center. It also locks the gimbal if you want to get a shot where it's always facing outward and doesn't spin. So when it's centered like this, I hold the lock, and no matter what I do, the camera always stays forward. Whereas I let go and the phone will twist with wherever I point the gimbal. And then on the side, you have a zoom function, which you can zoom in and out from whatever you're shooting. Makes it a lot easier than trying to swipe on the screen. And then you also have a mode button, which changes the mode settings for what you're filming in. So the button layout's great, and it just gives you some more flexibility when you're out shooting. Kind of makes everything that you need pretty accessible at your fingertips. Number three is improved active track. So wherever I move the gimbal, it's always gonna keep your subject completely centered. I don't even really have to look at the screen, I just know it's gonna happen. And when I zoom in, it still works. So it's a good feature to have, and it does make it a lot easier to operate. You just have to move physically through space, and your camera will always stay centered on your subject. So number four is the app. So with the DJI Mimo app, you get access to a lot of features pretty easily. It's more than just if you were to turn on your camera app on your phone. So just looking at the screen here, you have things like your auto and manual settings super accessible. So we'll put on manual, you could change your ISO, your shutter, and your exposure value compensation, or you could keep an auto, which a lot of times the smartphone works great on auto, but there are definitely times where you might want to control your settings a little bit better. And then you have access to your resolution, your frames per second. So let's put it in 4K, 60 frames per second. You have your zoom right here in the middle, which is just right there on the screen. And right on the right side, you have access to all these different modes. So you have your hyperlapse, your time lapse, your dyna zoom, slow motion, video, photo, panoramic, and story. So you have a lot of different modes that you can access, whether you want to do different styles of photography or you want to do different videos like time-lapse, motion-lapse, or hyperlapse. Number five is the magnetic attachment. Now the OM4 also had this magnet that you put on your phone. However, they've redesigned it a little bit and it works better with cases. So right now I have the Moment phone case, which is a phone case I really like using because not only is it good to attach additional lenses or filters, but it also just works with my Apple Wallet. So I can use my wallet, and I also have access to add additional lenses on this case. It just makes it super easy. And then when I want to put it on the gimbal, I just put on the little attachment which works on the outside of the phone case, and it's a strong magnet, and I'm good to start shooting. And that's one thing, it's just simple to use. And I guess that's point number 6, is that it is so simple to use. You're not fumbling around trying to get this thing balanced. As soon as you know the right position to put your clip on the phone, you just pop the clip on the phone, put it on the magnet, hit power, you're good to go. So instead of having to like fumble with this thing, it's actually really easy to use. Now when you're done and you just want to power it off, you can just pull this off. The gimbal's gonna automatically just go into standby mode, and you shut it off with the button on the side, and then it folds down to the size, which is super small and it can fit in your pocket. That's reason number 7 why you'd wanna get this smartphone gimbal, is it's smaller and lighter than all the others. You can just throw it in your pocket and you don't really have to worry about carrying anything additional. So one question that's gonna come up is, can you use the moment filters on the gimbal? Right now I have the anamorphic filter on. It's one with the gold flare. Testing out doing some anamorphic stuff. This is kind of a cool lens to play with for a smartphone. And I've been able to float it on the gimbal, and it definitely adds a lot more weight. So using some filters and some additional lenses, the OM5 seems to take the weight just fine, and I'm definitely gonna be testing this out more and more and just playing around with this whole setup, especially with this anamorphic lens. Reason number 8 is the new extension rod that comes with the OM5. So you get this full extension, which if you're someone who's doing like a group photo or you do like vlog style content, this does come in handy because it does get the camera further away from you and you get a much better shot than if the camera's, only an arm's distance. Let's just do a quick test and I'll show you the difference. All right, so I'm just putting the camera arm stretch away, shooting video, and this is the type of shot that you get in vertical. Let's flip it to horizontal. And always when you're shooting a horizontal video in this way, you kind of have to hold the camera funky because you have to hold your hand like this to be able to get the shot. And this is with the extension rod fully out, and you can see it does the face tracking, so wherever I move, the gimbal's gonna follow as well, and you just get a much wider shot. Now let's flip it horizontally. All right, now we're here in the horizontal, and you can see that the face tracking is working. It's easier to hold. You don't have to have your arm stretched out. You don't have that look of the arm stretched out. Now, number 9 is the new software called Shot Guide. So basically DJI has set up these different types of sequences and it's all automated. So if you want to do like a cool nature scene, well, you click on the nature button and it's going to tell you a series of shots to get to cut together this cool looking video, and they have a bunch of them on the software. It makes it easier if you're someone who just wants to capture the scene but you don't know exactly which shots you want to get. DJI has a bunch of series already set up to make it a lot easier to get good looking videos out of the scene that you're capturing. And number 10, I think just using a gimbal in general puts you more in that filmmaking mindset. So when you're using a gimbal, you're gonna think about your shots a little bit more. And when you have access to all these buttons and these different features, you're gonna start thinking through your shots a little bit more than if you're just walking around holding your phone like this. Using a gimbal just puts you in that mindset to craft some better looking videos. So whether you are a content creator and you just use your smartphone, or you just want to capture some better looking videos of your family running around the park, the DJI OM5 makes it easy because you can put it in your pocket and it doesn't take a lot of additional time. So guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts about the new DJI OM5 down below in the comments. And next, I highly suggest you check out this video right here, which goes through how you start and grow a YouTube channel just using your smartphone. All right, I will see you on the next one.